Welcome to The Nation Speaks. I'm your host, Cindy Drew-Care. It's a shocking statistic. For young Black 15 to 24-year-olds in America, homicide is a leading cause of death by a wide margin. It's far higher compared to the population overall, to Hispanics, and to white Americans. And mostly, it's a result of Black-on-Black crime. And yet we hear little about it from the news or from politicians offering solutions. But to families living in neighborhoods with high crime rates, it's an unavoidable, tragic topic. That's why a group of mothers united in the pain of losing a child to street violence say they've had enough. They want to turn their suffering into positive action to help heal and transform their communities from within. I sat down earlier with a remarkable woman who's behind the movement. Joining us now is Sylvia Bennett-Stone, Director of Voices of Black Mothers United, an initiative under the Woodson Center, a wonderful organization that works at the community level to find and support local leaders who are trying to improve some pretty badly broken communities. Sylvia is also the author of Minefields, A Healing Journey to Survive the Murder of a Child. Sylvia, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this morning.
Sylvia, in 2004, your beautiful 19-year-old daughter, Crystal Joy Bennett, was murdered. And I am so sorry for that. How did that healing journey result in Voices of Black Mothers United, and what does your organization do?
Oh, it started with a need to be heard. It started with the need to tell my story, to tell Crystal's story, to be the voice of Crystal, saying that her life meant something to many people. And so many innocent kids are getting killed in the same way, caught in crossfires. So Voices of Black Mothers United is an accumulation of thousands of mothers like myself that are saying my child didn't deserve to get killed, didn't deserve to die. And no one wants to talk about the Black-on-Black crimes in our communities. So we decided to come together under the Woodson Center. Mr. Bob Woodson gave us the opportunity to have a national platform, a national voice to say, we need to do something about what's happening in our communities.
What exactly does your organization do?
We have three initiatives. One is advocacy. We believe in healing, of helping other mothers heal through the process. If I heal, my family heals, the community heals. Our second initiative is community intervention. We are taking the young men and women who are out here feeling like they're hopeless, don't have a life ahead of them, and loving on them and showing them the way to life opposed to from life. And if we can give them hope in their lives, then they can see the value of their life and someone else's. The third is promoting positive policing. We 100% do not support the defund the police movement. 80% of people in the communities do not support defund the police movement. We need police accountability, sensitivity training for mental illness, for homelessness, and being peace officers. If we can work with the police, so for an example, if there's a crime scene, a homicide scene, we make ourselves available to respond with the police. Therefore, we can deal with the families in terms of their shocking news that they just received. They're distraught. We know how to better deal with them and react with them. Whereas the police need to be able to police that scene in order to get the evidence that they need to close that homicide.
So you've been on calls like that. What do you say to parents who have just lost their child that way?
There's not a whole lot of things that you say, but it's the actions that you give. And that is just holding them right at that moment, because there's absolutely nothing you can say that would be correct, right? When I received the news, I look back on it and people said everything that was wrong. That made me more distraught than, just adding on to receiving horrific news. For an example, I'm so sorry. That's not the time to say that. Or the police themselves saying, okay, I need to know what happened. That's not the time to say that to a mother. Not when I have to go in and identify my child's body. So you don't really say much, but you hold them. You let them scream.
Black Lives Matter gets a lot of attention, and it mostly just focuses on the one scenario of Black deaths at the hands of white police officers, which is statistically pretty rare. You're drawing attention to the much greater problem of crime and violence in Black communities. Why isn't this a bigger part of the conversation?
Many people are desensitized. We are dying at an alarming rate. We feel as though people don't know what to do. They don't have solutions. So therefore, they don't want to talk about it. It's not the popular thing to talk about. It's so much easier to say a white cop killed this Black person, and then you have someone to blame. But when you're looking in your community and you are afraid to talk about it because you don't want to tell who did these things. Two, you 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 don't know what to do. So when you don't know what to do, the easiest thing is to not discuss it. But we're no longer saying that's acceptable. We are going to have these conversations as to why Black on Black crime is so prevalent. Why are we killing each other? Voices of Black Mothers United, we're in 22 states with thousands of mothers.
Your website has some pretty disturbing statistics. I'm wondering if you can give us some insight into it. 26% of parents die within the first 10 years after experiencing the trauma of losing a child, and 92% of marriages fail within the first 10 years.
I can give you a very close and personal story about the 26%. Of course, the bullet went through Crystal's body and stopped in the heart of her girlfriend, and both girls died. 5 years later, the other mom died of a broken heart. Broken heart syndrome is real. I've heard of it before this, but never thought much of it. And after Pat Greer died, I did the research on it, and I had to purpose and be very intentional about living, because the pain is so horrible that there are times that you just want it to stop. It's an unnatural course of life. You're not supposed to bury your child. The next thing I would like to share with you, about 92% of marriages fail. I was actually working within the court system, and a presiding judge was very close to me. She said to me, Sylvia, you and your husband have to be on point, because there's going to come a time where you don't know what to do with that pain and you turn on each other. I said, oh no, Judge Storm, we're okay. We're supporting one another. She said to me, 92% of marriages fail at the death of a child. because you don't know what to do with that pain. No one else want to hear about it. No one else want to talk about it. So it's just the two of you. I later found out how that happens. Thank God that we are still together, yes. But we had to go back to what brought us together.
We have to finish up, but perhaps you can leave us with what you see are some of the best prospects for solutions.
Our kids are feeling hopeless. If they don't feel as though they can live past 18, they care less about their life and someone else's. If we can give them hope by loving them and understanding their walk and their frustrations and help them process through that, that's the first thing we want to do. And then the second thing we're looking at is, how do we come together as a community? When we know there's a bad element in our community, let's talk about this element, because the fact of the matter is, if you know this person is a murderer, you're not safe either. So if we can teach our young people coping mechanisms, how to avoid those pressure points. So we have to be very intentional about healing within our communities.
Sylvia Bennett-Stone, Director of Voices of Black Mothers United, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me. And if you're interested in Voices of Black Mothers United, you can go to the website, voicesofblackmothers.com.
Be sure to watch the entire episode, available on epochtv.com, a new completely censorship-free premium subscription platform. Brought to you by the Epoch Times. See you there.